Hello, everyone. Mr. Love here, coming to you from the diesel shop. Today, we're just going to do a quick little brake adjustment here on this air drum brake that we have here. It's all cut off an axle, put onto a stand for us, but it's basically what we would find on, over the road tractor trailer truck. So this is just a short video, just showing the actual brake adjustment, measuring the brake stroke, and adjusting the brakes. For more in-depth why we do this and what we're looking for, check out the longer videos in the how-to series. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to measure the brake stroke. Okay, so a couple different ways we could do this. We can release our parking brake. So I pushed in my PP valve that's located on the dash usually, and the cage is my spring brake that's down inside here. So if you press that spring down in there, my brake's just released. I should be able to rotate my brake drum and the tires around it. Okay, so now I can measure the brake stroke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure off the brake chamber here. Now you'd like to go to the center pin of the slack adjuster. Okay, so this one's right at 4 inches. What I'm doing is seeing how long this rod comes out of the brake chamber. If it comes out too far, I won't have any brakes. So I want to keep it within a range, usually between 1 inch to up to 1.7 stroke out of there. So I can step on my brake pedal now. Step on my brake pedal, you can see the rod comes out. That's the proper way to do it. That way we can check for air leaks and stuff like that. For testing purposes or for quick brake adjustments when you're alone, we can just use our PP valve on the dash, at least to do our back brakes. Okay, so I'll apply PP valve there. Now just let all the air out of my brake chamber. Now I got my 2,000-pound spring up on this side. It's applying my brakes for me. So let me get my stroke again. Okay, so now I just measured off my brake chamber in the same spot, the center pin, and I got 5 1/4. So we started with 4. So 5 1/4 minus 4, that's 1 1/4. So I have 1 1/4 brake stroke right there. So that's the perfect stroke. Okay, well, I'm going to go through the actual adjustment process here. So to adjust the brakes, I can't do it with any tension on there. So I got to release my brakes again. The brakes are released. Should be able to spin my wheel and everything around at this point. For this style here, I'm going to use a 6.11 millimeter socket for this type of slack adjuster. There's multiple types of slack adjusters. Again, refer to the other how-to videos. Okay, so I'm going to take my 11 millimeter socket here. So you'll hear that I have 2 different ways I can go here. The one way I go, you'll hear a clicking noise. I don't know how good you can hear it on the computer with the heater going, but the way I'm going right now, it's making a loud clicking noise. If I go the other direction, there's no clicking noise. Okay, so to do a brake adjustment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my brake all the way up against the drum. So I'm going to rotate it the way that it does not click. So I just rotated it as far as it would go. I don't have to reef on it or anything, just light pressure. And now my brakes are all the way against the drum. It would be really hard for me to spin the trigger. So with all the way against the drum there, now I'm going to back my brakes off 1/2 to 1/4. So this slack adjuster on here is a little bit worn, so I'll actually get a little bit of movement on it before I start hearing the clicking. So I don't count the movement of it. Okay, so I'm going to do 1/2 a turn of rotation with this here. I'll show you better with the camera here in a second. But I'm going to do 1/2 of rotation here. And that's it. I should have just slight drag here to be able to rotate my wheel around, and I can get my brake stroke again. Okay, so my 4-inch start, that's not going to change on me with my adjustment. What's going to change is how far that rod comes in. So I just applied my brakes there. So now, again, I'm right at about 5 3/8. So 1 3/8 brake stroke there. So for this 30-30 size brake chamber, the max I could have on my drive is 1 7/8. So I have 1 3/8. So I'm within spec there. So I'm good to go. Okay, I'm going to release this again. I'll bring the camera over so you see it a little bit better here. Got my brakes released. We'll go through the whole adjustment process here, but one other thing we can do to check out our brake shoes and stuff a little bit better, sometimes they're a little hard to see the actual, how good they look and how good our drum is, unless we back them all the way off. So we don't have to do this every time. We just do it to do a really good inspection inside here. What we could do, we could adjust our brakes the way that it clicks. Do that little clicking noise. We keep going the way that it clicks until we start to see this rod come out. When that rod comes out, that means our brakes are backed all the way off. We should be able to spin our wheel nicely there. And it gives us a little gap in our brake drums to our shoe clearance. We're good looking there and check out the quality of our shoes a little bit better. So that's just if you wanted to do a visual inspection. You don't have to do that every time. Okay, so for the actual brake adjustment, again, we're going to rotate it around the way that it doesn't make the clicking noise. We're going to go all the way till we contact the drum. Okay, so I went all the way to the drum. I can't go any further. It's all the way there. No matter how hard I push, it's not going to go any further. Now I'm going to back my brakes off the quarter to a half a turn. Okay, so like I said before, this slack adjuster is a little worn. We should get clicking as soon as we start going, but this one's a little worn. So I'm not going to count that first little bit there. Okay, so right there, that would be a quarter turn. Let's see what that gave us for a stroke. I'm going to apply my brakes again. Okay, so that put us right at 5 inches, the center of our slack adjuster there. So that would be a 1-inch stroke, still within spec. Release the brakes again. I'll do another quarter turn so we can simulate the half a turn. Another quarter turn, going to apply my brakes again. And now I'm at about 5 3/4. So kind of getting up to the upper limit of my brake stroke there, but still within spec. So still looking good. What we don't want to do is have it backed off more than that. I'll show you why. So my brakes released again. I'll back it off a little bit more. You'll see our rod's going to come out quite a ways here. Okay, so my rod just came out quite a ways there. We're at 6.5 inches. So we have 2.5 inches of brake stroke there. So brakes are fully applied right now. My rod's all the way out. It can't go out any further, but look at this. I now have no brakes on my vehicle whatsoever on this wheel. So that's why our brake adjustment is very important. That's why we need it between that 1 inch up to 1.7 stroke there. So release my brakes again. One quick brake adjustment one more time. Contact the drum. Rotate it that little bit first. Then we go that quarter back off and we're all set. Okay, so that's all there is to our quick brake adjustment. So again, refer to the Diesel Technology with Mr. Love how-to video on more in depth on brake information and stuff like that, where we go through the whole system. We talk about all the components. We talk about why we do this, when we disassemble the brake assembly, the brake chamber, all that stuff. So check those videos out if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Gibber Diesel.